This is 13.1, and we are going to be talking about sinking funds. So money set aside for a specific purpose is referred to as a sinking fund. We know how much money we want in the future, but perhaps we don't know how much we need to deposit initially, pay on a regular basis, or for how long. Deposits may consist of one lump sum, which would be present value. That only happens one time. Periodic deposits, which are payments, and those happen many times each period. And then combinations of these two, right, lump sums and deposits. All right, so let's find some practice here. You want to accumulate $30,000 to take a trip to Europe in 10 years. You have found an account which earns 5.136% compounded monthly. What amount must you deposit today? Okay, so we're going to take everything that we know in this problem. First of all, $30,000 is going to go in for future value. So that's going to be $30,000, and that's where that goes. And then we are taking a trip to Europe in 10 years, so we have 10 years to get this money together. 10 years and it's compounded monthly, so 10 times 12 equals, the interest rate is 5.1336%, and that's divided by 12 because we're compounding monthly. The present value is what we're finding, right? What amount should you deposit today? Okay, we are not paying a payment on this one, so we're solving for or computing present value. All right, so that's the one that we're looking for. Oops, try that again. Remember, I said circling is a good idea so that if you look back at your own work, you actually know what number you were finding for that problem. So once you have put everything in your calculator, be careful and don't forget to reset your calculator or clear your TVM keys in between questions. You want to just do this on a regular basis. All right, so here is the amount you would compute. It is $17,969.81. And that's it for that question. Next scenario. Referring to the previous example, you don't have a large sum of money to deposit for your trip. You still want to accumulate the $30,000 and take your trip in 10 years. You're still going to earn the same interest rate, 5.136%. And it says how much would you need to deposit monthly to end up with $30,000. So that means this time we're going to be looking for the payment. Okay, so a lot of this is the same as the previous question. It's still 10 times 12 for the number of periods. And then it's 5.136 divided by 12 for the interest. We have a present value of 0 this time because we are not making a one-time deposit. We're actually going to be finding out how much we would make if we were making payments. So how much do we pay per month in order to earn up to or to save $30,000? Going to circle this one. I'm over to the side. I don't want to be over to the side. Okay, so this time, this is a monthly payment. So 12 payments per year for 10 years. We're going to pay 120 payments on this particular trip. We're trying to accumulate $30,000. That's quite a trip. So it's going to take a decent amount of money each month, and it happens to be $191.79. So that is our monthly payment. for this trip. Okay, so on the next one, we're still going with the same example, except this time we can deposit $4,500, and then it says, what additional amount must you deposit monthly to reach your goal of $30,000 in 10 years? So we're still using some of the same numbers from last time. So if you didn't clear your TVM key, then we're going to have the same amount of, the same number of periods, the same interest rate. Now we're going to deposit $4,500. And then we're finding the payment. Oh, future value is the same, which was $30,000. So you can always look back at the previous question to see what these numbers would be. We are finding the payment this time. All right. Oops, I went a little too far there. Oh gosh, this thing is not so handy if you can't get it in the right spot. So now our payments are going to be $143.77 per month. Remember on the last example, we were paying straight payments, no present value, so we didn't have a one-time deposit. So we were paying $191.79, and now it's $143.77. All right, just a little bit of review here on total number of periods, because we're going to be working with some where we're figuring out how long is it going to take us to accumulate some money. And so if you're looking at this, if n displays the number 18, that means it would take 18 periods to accumulate that amount. But 18 periods means something different depending on how often we are compounding or how often we are making payments, different ways to look at that. So if we're looking at monthly, if our payments are monthly, or we're compounding monthly, then it would be 18 divided by 12, which is just 1.5 years, right? 1.5 years. But if 18 were annually, then we're just dividing by 1, and that would be 18 years. So that number that we compute for n, the number of periods, simply depends on how often we are compounding, and that would tell us then how many years. Most of the time we like to look at these in years in the end, so calculating this part is what you're usually going to be asked to do. So if we're compounding quarterly, we're dividing 18 by 4, and that would be 4.5 years. And then semi-annually is 2 times per year, so we would divide by 2, and that would be 9 years. So it just simply means it's compounding 12 times per year for monthly, once per year annually, 4 times per year for quarterly, and 2 times for semi-annually. And that determines how many years you're going to be working with this particular scenario. All right. So the next question. If you want to open your own auto repair shop and estimate it will take $13,500 to get started, so that $13,500 is going to be future value, right? $13,500, and that's what we're trying to accumulate. You currently have $2,000 saved and can deposit $300 at the end of each month. Okay, so your savings that you have now is going to be your one-time deposit of $2,000. All right, so that's your present value. You're making payments of $300. And those are monthly payments because we're compounding monthly. It says, in how many months can you start your business? And so we're also going to look at years, because I always like to think about that too. So our interest rate is 3.625, and we're dividing that by 12 because this is monthly. And we're computing n, right? The number of periods. So when you compute this, you get 35.65, and that means months, right? That will be months in this case. If we were checking to see, hey, what would that be in years? We would divide it by 12, and we find that it is very close to 3 years. Sometimes we put a wavy equal sign like this, and that indicates that we have rounded. So I'm going to put the circle thing around that because the initial question did ask how many months, and I always like to go ahead and calculate the years because I feel like that's a good thing to think about on each type of these questions. Okay, so I'm going to stop this video and then we'll pick it up on the next video to finish this lesson.